Hello, Jack Ewins here. Apologies for this video, the quality of the video, because I'm feeling a little bit ill. However, with all the buzz about Jurassic Park 4, it felt like it was necessary I immediately tackled the subject. The subject being feathers in Jurassic Park 4. Now, Colin Trevorrow, the director of Jurassic Park 4, tweeted no feathers, which is interesting, and it's split a lot of people up. That no one can really decide on if this was a good decision. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan and have been since I first saw the first film when I was 4 in the cinemas, and I felt like as a big fan I should talk about this. I have never had the power of the internet before when a Jurassic Park film's coming out, so I like the idea that I can vlog all the way up until the 4th film's released next year about different subjects. But anyway, so my opinion on his tweet is I agree with him. I think we shouldn't have feathers in the 4th film unless they're on a new dinosaur. Yeah, that's basically my opinion. You can't change the dinosaurs we've already seen just because science dictates it. It might sound silly, but science has moved too fast for us to change the canon of the dinosaurs we've already seen, like redesigning them. Now, talking about redesigns, a lot of people will talk about the raptors in Jurassic Park 3 and how they have quills on the backs of their necks, and how that means the dinosaurs, the raptors we've seen in the first 2 films, have changed. Now, I disagree completely. They are a different species, and here's my reasoning behind that. Yes, the filmmakers changed the design just because they wanted to make them fresh and new to the audience, but it doesn't really make any sense in film canon terms. So here's my theory about that. Yes, the raptors we see in the first film are female. The raptors we see in the second film are males and females, and the raptors we see in the third film are a completely different breed. The 4 main pieces of evidence for that are: 1, they have the quills; 2, the coloration of the raptors is completely different. And I know they changed the coloration for the second film, but they were the males and we hadn't seen them before. So there we go. 3, one of the main things about raptors in the third film that makes me believe that they're a different species is their eyeballs. The eyeballs of the raptors seen in the first 2 films are yellow with a black slit for a pupil. And the raptors in the third film have a red eyeball with a round pupil. So it just seems a bit unrealistic to think that the raptors changed so much in 4 years since The Lost World to Jurassic Park 3 when that was set. The 4th piece of evidence is their behaviour. They act completely differently to the ones we see in the first 2 films. The ones in the first 2 films are way more aggressive, bulkier, larger, I do believe, by a couple of feet in length. And the ones in the third film are I'd say they're more placid. At the end of the third film, they let the humans go when they get their eggs back. They're more intelligent. They talk, not the dream sequence, but they talk to one another very basically, and they set traps. There's just too many differences to say that they're the same raptors. So this is also backed up by something which I like to hold dear to my canon of the films. People probably won't agree with me on this. Okay, in the game Trespasser, the Lost World game, which I don't consider canon with Jurassic Park film series, there was a mini game, or like an Easter egg, where you walked around and you could collect the memoirs of John Hammond, these little diskettes, and that would tell you the backstory of InGen and John Hammond's history. And a fan at JP Legacy, I do believe, could be wrong, I'll credit you somewhere at the bottom, got the memoirs of John Hammond and made an album called Jurassic Time, which I have on my phone, the memoirs of John Hammond. Now, I consider this album, this fan-made album, canon with the films, in my personal opinion. Because, one, it's narrated by Richard Attenborough, who plays John Hammond in the movies. So it's him back playing John Hammond, and it's fantastic. It just secretes a lot of things in the Jurassic Park history that makes the films way more like sort of believable and realistic. You hear about problems about growing the dinosaurs and everything. It's very interesting. But my point is that chapter 6 of the album, called Rulers of the Island, he talks about 3 different tribes of raptors. 3 different tribes, okay? So, one tribe is the raptors that we've seen in the first 2 films. The other tribe is the one seen in Jurassic Park 3. And the third tribe we don't know much about, but he does talk about the third tribe quite a lot. He says that they're and to quote, they're a leaner, tougher breed who hunt small lizards and birds, and they staked their territory up in the mountains of Site B. Yeah, let's think about that for a moment. When I hear that, imagining these raptors, imagine if they were the same size as the ones in the Lost World Jurassic Park, and they only ate small birds and lizards. Would they sustain themselves very well? Not really. So this leads me to believe that they could be a smaller breed of raptor. If that's the case, then the raptors in the mountains are going to be more like the raptors that we know in paleontology today. Of course, we know that velociraptors were the size of turkeys, thereabout, and covered in feathers. So the velociraptors in the mountains that John Hammond talks about in Jurassic Time could have feathers. Now, if they were to put feathers in Jurassic Park 4, they're the raptors that you would want to see. These smaller, more vicious, tough breed, like loads of them. That's how I'd like to see it. I mean, there's 3 different tribes confirmed in Jurassic Time. So, there you go. So that's my proof to why the raptors in Jurassic Park 3 aren't the same as the ones in the first 2 films. So they can't just change and give them feathers. So that's why I don't want to see the raptors in the 4th film, the raptor from the first film, just drenched in feathers. It just seemed a bit unrealistic, despite being more scientifically correct. Also, another point to make is that Jurassic Park, the first film, made the dinosaurs very believable. Not so much in look, right, and you have to bear with me, not so much in look, but in behaviour. Why we believe these animals exist in the Jurassic Park universe is the fact that they act like animals, despite looking and being very different to what dinosaurs were really like, especially with what we know about dinosaurs today. Like the Dilophosaurus never had a frill and never spat poison. It's an artistic liability. The raptors obviously being really big, which, just a side note, John Hammond mentions in Jurassic Time, he says they never knew why they grew so large. There's something in the genes that made them grow really big. Also, the T-Rex's vision is based on movement. There's no scientific evidence for that. But I've got a leopard gecko, and that's how she hunts. Her vision's based on movement. So it makes the animals more realistic by giving them these artistic traits that they're detached from science in a way, and that's always been the case. Jurassic Park dinosaurs have never been pure dinosaurs. If they were, I don't think Jurassic Park would have felt as realistic as it did. If you were to clone a dinosaur in real life, as tough as it is and impossible really, you wouldn't have a complete DNA sequence. There is no way you could create a dinosaur perfectly from fragments of DNA found in amber. So you would have to, like they do, insert DNA from another animal to fill in the gaps and everything, or make synthetic DNA to fill in the gaps. And that means you wouldn't have a pure dinosaur, you'd have a genetically engineered theme park monster, to quote Alan Grant from the third film. So that's what the Jurassic Park has always been about. It's not been about actual real life dinosaurs, it's been about an open window to what life may have been like 150 million years ago, 65 million years ago. It's a very interesting concept. This is also backed up, I feel, with Alan Grant's behaviour in the third film. At the start of the film, he's talking to a group of kids in a school, and he says they're genetically engineered theme park monsters, nothing more, nothing less. Which is right. However, when he sees the brachiosaurs and the Triceratops and Stegosaurus from the plane, when he reaches the island, he says, "My God, I've forgotten." Which, okay, I have to sort of think about this a little bit more and think, he's torn. The character Alan Grant is torn whether or not he should actually be studying these creatures as genuine dinosaurs, or hold back and ignore them and say, no, they're not real dinosaurs, because they are man-made genetic animals. They're a new species of animal in a sense. Which is what Jurassic Park's always been about. I keep saying it, but that is what it is. It's Jurassic Park dinosaurs, to sum up, here we go. Jurassic Park dinosaurs are genetically engineered, fictional animals, loosely based on dinosaurs and paleontology of today, like what our studies of dinosaurs today. So that being said, yes, you can't just stick feathers on dinosaurs for the fourth film, because it would detract from, there'd be too many questions about how would that even physically happen. The dinosaurs we already have are already great. Like, the Jurassic Park dinosaurs are already fantastic, so why change them? I have nothing against feathers on animals. I don't have any problem with feathers on dinosaurs. In real life, I just don't, it's amazing, I love all animals. But these fictional dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park universe are man-made creatures. So, yeah, you can't just sling feathers on them, it'd be silly. But you can put feathers on a new dinosaur. I think I've said that more than enough. Anyway, yeah, I feel like crap. Yeah, there's my opinion. If you agree or disagree, we'll see next year. I'm just more amazed by the fact that we're actually getting a Jurassic Park film, another one. So, yeah. Be sure to check out my other videos, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and if you want to know more about my work, follow this link at the bottom. And if you can't wait for Jurassic Park 4, because you love dinosaurs so much, go and buy my book, this link here. I always plug that, why not? Anyway, yeah. See you later, guys.